This is the Quarterfinals 2 tactical preview between Jingdong Gaming and Suning Gaming, the two e-commerce giants of the esports world in the LPL. Suning, so far, what they've shown is two approaches to the game. Like most of the other LPL teams, they play towards a jungle-centric meta as their A strategy, and in their B strategy, there's some interesting tech that revolves around SofM playing the likes of a ganking jungler. They showed the Lee Sin in one game against G2 and the Jarvan in another scenario. The Jarvan is particularly interesting because with the likes of Ashe and Senna being immobile carries running around in the metagame, Jarvan has always been a good option to punish these champions should the opponents not go for the likes of Thresh or Tahm that can build the AD carry or carry position out. Suning's early game focus has been a variation where they can play around the jungle or they play towards bin at the top side of the map. And this can be facilitated through either the top side or bottom side, and sometimes it is the bottom side who facilitates for the jungle should SofM be playing the likes of Lee Sin or Jarvan. The mid-game lane assignments has been rather solid, where they play on two lanes and set up for either a two-lane push to go for a solo take on the neutral objective, or for a 5-man mid where they can create picks on their opponents. And in general, this is the pick preference style that this team likes to play with, and it's a team that understands very clearly how to execute this pick and disengage style, not overextending and being able to pull back and simply zone their opponents away from the objective, using the threat of running into fog. JD Gaming, on the other hand, while the A strategy has been to playing around the jungle, where they actively try to stack the Drakes, their B strategy that they have demonstrated once again is playing to the top side of the map. The early jungle focus is also towards the jungle, where they play the likes of Lilia and Silas. And this is once again flexible. While they have a preference to play towards the top side of the map, it is also entirely possible they can facilitate their jungle through the bottom side of the map as well. However, the mid-game lane assignments that I've seen from them has been rather suspect, especially in the series against TS, where they tend to play on 3 lanes, collapse into one, and then not control the zones properly, causing them to lose team fights in their final series against TS. Nonetheless, that might not necessarily matter, because JD Gaming, in most of the games that we've seen at World so far, they simply run over opponents with individual skill. And thus, I do think that who can secure red side will be having a very significant advantage in the drafting phase, as they will be able to counterpick for both side lanes, selecting either support or top laner on R3, banning out two possible answers, and then being able to counterpick either for the support position or the top lane position on R5. The last time these two teams met was in Week 2 of LPL Summer, where JD Gaming took the 2-0 over Suning. However, I wouldn't be looking too much into this, as this was a much more different meta as compared to what we are seeing at the World Championship at the moment, where Aphilos and playing towards the bot lane as a carry piece was a very big part of it, enabling a whole different variety of strategies. Nonetheless, Suning's drafts in this series in particular was rather suspect, and I will have to give them the benefit of the doubt, given how they've been drafting so far, that they will turn things around and have solid drafts where they will be able to identify the key aspects of the meta and get the right counter picks down for themselves. So my prediction straight off the bat is going to be a 3-1 for Suning Gaming. And I would think that, once again, red side advantage will be very important for both of these two teams, and Suning being the first seed, they will have the option to choose red side first. Now, I would be surprised if they went to start off game 1 on blue side, but this assumes that Suning Gaming goes for red side as the side selection for the first game, because this will allow them to counterpick support and top lane and guarantee 2 pushing lanes, through which the Graves would then be able to invade the opponent jungle and do SofM things, where he gets this massive CS leads over his opponent and then takes over the game from that point. This puts JD Gaming in the position to break serve. Well, if JD Gaming were to be on red side, we would see Zoom as well as the bot lane of JD Gaming being able to create the similar leads as well, and JD Gaming excels best when they are ahead of their opponents. And the ways that JD Gaming can potentially break serve in this scenario on blue side, especially considering that the scaling team fighting option is not necessarily available to them, given that Ornn is likely going to be banned out this entire series, probably by Suning. and Orianna is not in Yakal's champion pool, the first way that they can do this is by electing to go for early blind pick skill check top lane or support matchups. In particular, the likes of Camille in the top lane and Bard are both viable options, or we might see them elect for the likes of a Volibear as well. But I'm not too much of a fan of a Volibear, but going for a Volibear can enable the second option, which then allows Yakal to pick up his assassins to play in the mid lane. Now the likes of LeBlanc and Kiana will have high amounts of impact in the mid stages of the game, should Suning want to be contesting the neutral objectives, especially around their 1 and 2 item completion spikes. Kiana in particular is a pocket pick of Yakal's that I think will be a rather interesting angle to approach this series with. JD Gaming has experimented a little bit with Silas in the group stage so far, and I'm not too sure what is the idea behind going for this Silas pick, but the fact that they have been playing this and they have been finding success with it could be an indication that they understand something that most of us do not, and the Silas might be the way, and the value of the Silas might come true in the series against Suning. On the other hand, should JD Gaming be playing towards the push lanes and the enable jungle style, especially if they can get the counter pick on the top side and bot side of the map, Suning can then break serve in a similar way. We've seen Bin playing the Camille with the Omni Stone, and Swadat is very proficient on the Bard, with that champion being his second most played champion. Trash is also an option here as well, going for the skill check matchups in both the top lane and the bot lane. This is one way that Suning can possibly attack the game, but most likely they will elect for a scaling team fight, going for the likes of Gangplank and Orianna, where Angel's mage champion pool with the likes of Syndra and Orianna in the Zir will be much more valuable in simply sacking the early game and then using the scaling breakpoints to attack the map at a later stage. And there's a third option as well, should SofM pull out some interesting tech. Once again, if JD Gaming tunnels into the likes of Ashe or a Senna, Suning has shown scenarios where they drop the jungle to 4-5, and SofM can then pick up the likes of a Jarvan or a Lee Sin to punish out these picks accordingly. So why Suning over JDG in my prediction? The first seed for Suning allows them to have side selection, enabling them to pick red side, which would then give them a very big draft advantage. Now this is definitely an assumption. We do not know that they have picked red side yet for themselves. Secondly, as compared to week 2 of the LPL, the meta at the moment is much more suited to Suning, who plays to a very carry jungle style around SofM, and that is exactly what the meta is at the moment. Angels control mages in the mid lane as well. They have much more value than Yakal's Assassin and Zoe champion pool, and Suning they have better options to break serve on blue side, as we have seen in the previous slides. So that wraps it up as to my tactical preview between JD Gaming and Suning. I think that this will be a very interesting series to watch, and this series will be the one that teams will want to study to figure out what the meta is and how do you try to break red sides draft advantage in being able to pick on R3, ban out 2 champions, and then being able to pick on R5, which will give you the ability to enable your jungler to play very, very aggressively and find invades using the lane push that you're able to secure from the draft side. Now this was Jensen, and I hope you enjoyed this type of content. If you did so, please do like this video and consider subscribing to my channel. I hope you have a nice day and get hyped for Worlds.